good shift runners. And it all kind of comes down to the subject of professionalism. So that's what we're going to go through today. And we're going to get this presentation moving. There we go. So, what is the simple definition of professionalism? It is right here, and of course, taken right out of the good old dictionary. It's the skill, good judgment, and polite behavior that is expected from a person who is trained to do a job well. So, keywords in there, trained to do a job well. And you guys have all come through training recently, and you are in a continuous state of learning. So, what's the significance of professionalism? Well, we think professionalism can be quickly recognized, depending upon the professionalism that the management and the crew actually display. But it's important for your success inside and outside of work and for your future career. So, simply a professional, a true professional gets noticed. Some of the features of professionalism are showing respect to those around you. So you never want to treat anyone as insignificant or unworthy. Maintain your highest level of integrity. You have to consider how your actions are going to affect others. You must also hold true to your standards and keep your standards high. Some of you may actually hold yourself to a standard that is so high it will give you anxiety, and we don't want that to happen either. But you have to have, a high standard so that your expectation is there, and that will reflect on your expectations for others too. So you have to be aware of that. Take the extra step and take pride in your work. Simple as that. Some of the overall effects, you can have a simple host that can brighten your day when you walk in with a huge smile and a little conversation. It sets your mood. You set the mood as the manager and the leader in your store when you arrive. What is your mood like? I always say, are you the manager that everybody says, oh, yay, hey, Bill's here? Or is it, oh, I'm not feeling so good for the day? So think about that too. Your professionalism, your attitude is contagious, and you want to make sure that you're the person they want to see. Some misconceptions about professionalism. Well, it's not always about you, the value that you place on yourself, the knowledge that you the knowledge you possess. I don't know where my head is. Professionalism is about the value that you place on others and how you apply your knowledge. So you're helping others along the way. Some of the benefits. When you're recognized as a professional, you earn trust and respect. And when you act in that professional manner, you help your career develop. You get the opportunities, you influence employees, customers, and your management team. So it's hugely important and benefits you. So, professionalism, in order to succeed and move ahead, well, you need to demonstrate the professionalism. You need to walk the talk, right? So, this just means you know the proper things to do and you conduct yourself with responsibility, integrity, accountability is huge, and excellence. You try to do the absolute best job that you can. So, communicating effectively and appropriately and finding a way to be productive all the time. That's the example to your team. Employers want new workers to be responsible, ethical, and team-oriented, and to possess strong communication, interpersonal, and problem-solving skills. You don't learn those in one day. This comes with experience. So when you've got all these things and you're moving forward, that is showing your professionalism. It's not just one thing, it's a lot of different qualities. Do you come to work on time consistently? Do you manage your time effectively? Take responsibility, work effectively with the team. You have to have high quality work standards. So are we doing things the Haas and Marzoni's way? Is everything neat and clean and organized? Are you dressed appropriately to be taken seriously? Professionalism is not an easy skill to develop. It tends to take years of experience. You're never going to be perfect, but you can definitely increase your skill level. A lot of people will say professionalism, they know it when they see it. But some people, as they're coming up, struggle with some of the things that make you a true professional. But it's the learning process, it's who you have that you learn from, and how you continue to grow that'll make a difference in your professionalism. How is professionalism judged? Well, we say, you know, you shouldn't judge anyone, you know. Um, However, we know that first impressions are very important. Your image, your personal hygiene, your uniform, you know, how do you come across to others? Um, do you have safety shoes? Do you have your name tag? Do you have a smile? If you expect others to do it, you have to be setting that example as well. Business etiquette. Do we come in and say good morning? Do we have that smile on? Do you greet your employees as they're coming in, when they're leaving? To say thank you and have a great evening. Just small things like that are good business etiquette with your employees. Well, we have that telephone and call it e-etiquette, but it's all our social media platforms. So that's difficult sometimes, and we have to have a huge awareness to that because everything that is being said could be interpreted in a different manner. So we always know those texts that have capital letters, "Are you angry with me?" or proper punctuation. If it's not punctuated properly, it sends an entirely different message. So you want to be very aware of how you're communicating in that way. What we talked about a little bit earlier here, do you say good morning and have a great evening? But simple manners, do you say please and thank you? Do you thank your employees for doing a good job? Even the guests, thank you for coming in tonight. We really appreciate your business. Our overall communication, we have verbal and nonverbal. Many times, nonverbal is so much louder than the verbal communication. So we need to be aware of it, and we need to keep communicating in a better manner. Communication can never be good enough, in my mind. I think overall relationships is a part of our professionalism. Are we building those relationships? Relationships build trust, and that is what we need to have a strong team. So do we act like we don't care, or are we asking those questions? Are we kind of having some interest in the employees? And, be careful with that too. We want to keep it as on a professional level. What does that mean? Well, it means if you have someone in high school or college and they're active in sports, and they have a big game coming up, ask them about the game. I think asking them if they have a significant other or, you know, are they going out, tonight or whatever, can be a little iffy. So, keep it to the professional side of things. Competence. Well, competence is a huge key of professionalism, but that takes time and growth. You need to keep learning every day, learning from your mistakes and your experiences, and that's how you get truly competent in your field. We have responsibility and accountability. Do you take responsibility for your actions and what happens? And are you accountable to make things right? If you have a customer issue, do you, accept that responsibility and take the accountability to find out from that guest what is going to make them happy and wanting to come back, and then take care of it in the appropriate manner? Trustworthiness. Have an open door policy where your employees and anyone can come in and approach you with something that they feel is important that they need to talk about. Please have them come with I always say, come with a solution. I have a small business, but I think don't have the time to hear continuous complaining. But if somebody feels that strongly about it, they should be able to come with some type of a solution that you can talk about. And that's where you make continuous progress. You have to have empathy and compassion for people. So you have to take the time to listen to them, to make them feel that you genuinely care and they're listened to. Being respectful, huge, huge part. You give respect and you gain respect. That's basically the way you get it. So treat others the way you want to be treated. And you have to have some emotional maturity. How do you handle those situations? Do you get emotional? Do you take care of it in the best way that you can. Maybe discuss it with a higher manager or another manager that you feel comfortable with just to get their response or how they may have handled it so that you're learning from it. So that's more of emotional maturity. When people act professionally, respect each other, and they uphold policies and procedures, which we have a lot of, it is easier to operate, it's better environment, and it helps us reach the company goals. So, what is the impact of professionalism in the workplace? Well, it ensures good performance, hopefully by all. Um, that might not always be the case, but when you're setting that example and you have an expectation for your crew, um, you'll see it. It will get better every day. So that professionalism is demonstrated from the top and it flows down. So you have to model that professionalism consistently every day so everyone on your team does their best. So, how to keep the employees motivated with this? Well, happy employees are positive. So they're the best kind of employees that you can have. They're ambassadors for your company. And where do we go to get our employees? Basically, um, we look to people that are good employees and we say, hey, do you have any friends? Um, even family. They grow up with the same values or they choose friends that have the same values that they do. So you normally can get another good person in that respect. So, they're our best advertising, so keep that in mind when you're looking. Ensures good team spirit. So a good team is productive, they get things done, and they add value and they add to the company goals. You can achieve the company goals through them. It's critical to ensure justice and fairness for everyone's efforts. It's not only quantity, but quality of the person's work. So appreciate the efforts and contributions made, and don't have any personal biases. Be consistent and appreciate all of your employees. Helps to maintain the right amount of communication in the workplace. Well, give people that need to be heard an opportunity to be heard. Give them your attention and make sure it's done when it's appropriate. Um, take the time when you can, possibly at the decline of business, to take them to the office and have that conversation to make them feel better. Um, just look at clear methods of communication between the employee and yourself. This is a slide that I had in here. This is an older presentation, but I think it's just funny to see how the professionalism has increased over the years. And I think that that's a really good thing to see. I was really hunting for a slide or statistics that would tell us after COVID where we are. And I unfortunately could not find those statistics. So if I do, I'll pass them along to you. Um, so I'm going to kind of blow by this one because it's a little outdated. Professionalism is the axis around which any organization should revolve. Yes. If you don't develop or enforce policies, you're going to end up with a workplace that suffers from low productivity, low employee morale, and poor customer service. So, what is that? Basically, your company culture. It's your restaurant's culture individually in that location. What are you setting the stage for? And you want to have a good, solid culture. That's where people want to work. So, how do you increase your success? Well, you know, there's a number here, but basically, we know now that we have more jobs than people to fill them. So, there is always a position out there. So, when you are looking at your hygiene, you're dressing for success, you'll be perceived as successful. So, that's an awareness of yourself and that example that you set in your store. Again, treat everybody with respect because if you give people respect, they will respect you in return, and it'll be much easier to get things done. Ultimately, as a manager in your store, that's your job is to, have things done by people that are willing and happy to do the work. Be a team player. Have a great attitude. Not only are you the manager, but you are a team member. So work alongside, set the example, do what you need to do to be a part of the team. So sharing knowledge, share your knowledge and accept knowledge. I always think when I'm out in the stores, you may see me and I'll ask questions because I want to learn. And many times it's so much easier to learn from people that are doing this every day. So be open and willing to share your knowledge, and then be open and willing to accept it as well. Following chain of command, this is a big one because you don't ever want to go over your supervisor's head, and you want to have a direct conversation. You need to be willing to have that emotional maturity. If you have something that is strong enough, you feel strongly enough about, then you should go to that person and have that conversation. If you then feel strongly about it and you feel like nothing has been done, you can try again. And if not, then you might request a meeting with someone else, just to help you work through it. But definitely you want to, be professional, and you want to follow that chain of command. I think you would appreciate it as much as everyone else does. This is a big one, not gossiping. So you want to stay out of the office politics. You want to stay out of the drama. Inevitably, maybe I shouldn't have tried that word. When you talk about someone, it's going to come back and haunt you. We really shouldn't be doing that. We talk a lot about respect, so not gossiping is respect for others. No one is perfect. So watch your communications through email, text, voicemail. Make sure that you're keeping private information private. Um, it's never a good thing when you hit reply all and you don't realize it and it goes out to everyone. So we've probably all done that at least once. You learn that lesson very quickly. It's a hard lesson to learn. So assure that anything that you're doing online, you could be professional in the restaurant. And if you're a manager and you have a social media platform that has some questionable behavior on it, well, that's a big disconnect. So that will definitely affect your professionalism. Even when we're hiring, we look at that. We look at social media platforms so that we can see, well, is this the kind of person that we need to have respectfully in our restaurant as an employee? Why overall is professionalism important? Well, this is your credibility, and this is huge. So it includes an employee's drive and willingness to improve performance. Professional employees have more credibility in the workplace. It's how you come across. It's how that perception is from the guests, from your other managers, from your crew. Your whole work environment is affected because professional employees focus on the workplace before any of their personal problems and agendas. They don't bring their personal issues into work. They kind of check them at the door, and that's what it should be. We are in the hospitality industry, and we want to make guests feel comfortable and happy. And if we're down, no one's perfect. Doesn't happen every day. We do have big things that happen in our lives that our moods get affected by, and our personalities get affected by. But we just have to have a personal awareness about that, um, because professionalism overall makes your workplace more comfortable for your employees and your customers. And we have to think about customers pass. So that's a huge part of what we do every day. Your ethics. Well, professionalism includes a strong sense of ethics, and that is crucial to having a successful business and avoiding legal ramifications of what you do. We just went and had you go through an entire day of HR where you learned, what you can and can't do in many situations, and that's a huge important thing for you to know, because that is going to not put you in an inappropriate situation where then legal ramifications could come about. Perceptions of professional workers. Well, employees who behave professionally are often perceived to be more competent and valuable to the company overall. So that ultimately should result in receiving pay raises and promotions. You get to have that, work your way up through the company and gain different positions and hopefully pay raises as you go along. So, the characteristics of professionalism. Many of these are similar as we're talking about them going through these slides, but I think that it's important, to look at the things. Character. Your character is about you. Your professionalism, you arrive on time, you admit and correct mistakes, you're fair and truthful, you follow through on the commitments that you make. Professional is someone people look up to for their personal integrity, and that is your personal character. So it's hugely important. Your attitude also. It's about respect and doing good for others. So this is just a little statement at the University of Kansas Medical School. In the best interest of others rather than self-interest is the rule. Greed, arrogance, misrepresentation, discrimination, and harassing behavior are unprofessional. The professional should exhibit willingness, good humor, and helpfulness. Boy, that adds to our company culture. So we definitely want to make that foundation. Overall excellence, striving to be the best. It drives professionals. Excellence is a conscientious effort to exceed expectations and to make a commitment to lifelong learning. You should learn something every day. We all do, even if we don't think about it all the time, but it may be the smallest thing, but you always are continuously learning every day, and you should be. If there's something you want to learn more about, we have so many resources available to us now. We can learn to move forward and gain some professional development. Competency. Well, your competency is your self-awareness, your self-confidence, and your social skills. And in what we do, our social skills are very important. So the competent professional is in control and they can display skills to lead, decide, work together, inform others. Communication is good. They seek out learning so that they are competent. So they have that continuous learning about them. Your overall conduct. Well, the professional conducts himself in a manner that reflects well on his profession. He maintains confidentiality and never acts abusively to customers, coworkers, or others. Professional dresses professionally and upholds the specific ethics of his profession. His conduct should be above suspicion and reproach, and you're walking the talk. So that's kind of sums it all up. You're walking the talk. But we need to have a very good awareness because we are dealing with situations with employees and customers every day. And we know that sometimes that's really difficult because our guests can be a little bit nasty. So we have to really keep our composure and that emotional security to be able to make the right decisions and to be able to take care of our problems and guests in the best way that we can. Rules of professionalism. Courtesy. Overall courtesy. Do you greet everyone with hello? How are you? Do we really listen to them? And do we leave that impression? Like, do we say goodbye at the end of the evening? Do we thank our guests? Thank them for coming in and we appreciate them. Acts of courtesy apply to nonverbal as well. So we have to watch some of our actions and what we do because what we say and what we're showing on our face or with our nonverbal actions can go against each other. So when you're folding your arms in front of you, it seems that you're standoffish and you're not really um, listening to the other person. If you're eye rolling, that means you're not taking this seriously at all. Foot tapping, you don't have time to listen to this. You need to move on. Not a good thing. Are you staring at one another? You're having a little standoff, and you don't want to do that. You want to work out everything um, with the best way that you can, kindness, listening to people, and finding that solution. Treat others the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. That's what Bill Campbell always believed in and taught us from the very beginning of time. And I think it's a very simple thing that we can all do every day. Communication is huge. Um, Managers and coworkers need to keep each other updated on things that are happening, on events, policies, procedures, changes, everything that concerns the workplace. And communication cannot be enough. So use all the resources that you have, but be respectful and polite. You have to have active listening. Um, Take that few moments to make eye contact, to face the person, to actually listen to them. Do not interrupt them. Listen to what they have to say, and if need be, repeat it back to them so that you know that you have understood them correctly. That's active listening. Make them feel important. Have appropriate conduct. Leave those personal issues at the door. You know, if you're using your cell phone and your employees are not allowed, there's a disconnect. I do feel badly sometimes come in the stores and I'll do my QAs and I do use my phone for notes. But I'm normally in the back of the house where I hide around a corner when I'm doing it. Um, we have a lot of employees that have those phones out. And how is that perceived? That's perceived as, not giving that attention to the guests or to the management team or to the other team players because we should be working together to get the job done. So, accountability. Hmm. Accountability is just huge. We have to be accountable ourselves. And as leaders and managers, we have to be accountable for others as well, because sometimes we have to take the brunt of things that happen and help out. Um, you know, handle delegated responsibilities, honor work-related commitments. If you make a mistake, own it and move on, be honest and find a way to take the accountability to make it right. It's your integrity when you own up to things and when you make things right with people, they respect you a little bit more. I think in any way, when you're really honest and you're really trying and you do your very best, they absolutely respect you in a higher manner. So, how do we improve this professionalism in the workplace? Well, be mindful and follow through on all the basic items that we've been talking about. Um, they're really not something I don't think that we know. I think we lose sight of them and we have to look at our awareness every day, making it a part of our everyday uniform. So when you do that, then it becomes second nature. And you're not really even thinking about it every more anymore. It just happens day by day. So when you improve your image, you think about your personal hygiene, your grooming, your hair is combed, you have your name tag on and it's straight. You have your shoes clean, you took a shower, you're ready to go for the day. You mind your manners, you act professionally, um, and that's the whole time that you're at your workplace. There's time to have fun, but you still have to be professional when you're having fun. Um, you're setting that example for your crew all the time. So improve yourself, improve your skills and your knowledge level, act more respectfully in the workplace. Be more caring and compassionate. We can never have enough kindness in the world. Everybody is dealing with so many different things today that being caring, compassionate, like I said, and just having that overall kindness and wanting to, help another human being, um, can never go wrong. Can never go wrong with that. Our communication skills, again, be aware of those nonverbals. I think that they speak volumes. And because we communicate so much through electronics, make sure that you're aware of that, just don't hit send. Let's take a second look at any of those communications that are going through. And you have to just be considerate and respect each other. Very basic skills, but very important skills each day. And that takes us to our professionalism and behavior. And the statement here, just simply put, says professionalism and appropriate behavior are going to determine your future growth. Your professional behavior shows the employee respects themselves and others and impacts the success of business. So, you as the employee or your crew, doesn't matter who that is, but um, that's definite growth, and that is the success of your business overall. They're going to impact all of your goals for your store. They're going to treat your customers right. They're going to treat other employees right. And that team is going to just grow. How do we teach professionalism? Well, It is an attitude and a skill set, definitely. And it's a set that you get better at over time with your experiences. I really do believe that. You can definitely learn more each day. You can talk to other managers, you can learn from other people. Um, but take the time to try to grow your crew and teach them about opportunities that we have in this company. You're the best ones because you have just become management. So you've either brought your experience into our company and you're new to our business, or you have been an employee for a while and you've moved up through the ranks and now you are a leader. So always take those opportunities to talk about that, to let employees know that there are opportunities for their growth in our company and be their mentor. If they have questions and you see potential in them, cultivate it. They don't see it in themselves. And you will notice it because you'll get very good at that as you go on. And you're going to see your good employees versus those with real leadership potential. So make sure that you are using that awareness to grow yourself. And they're always going to help you along the way too. And they're going to be a part of your success. So look for opportunities, talk about them, and make a very good team. How do we start teaching this professionalism? Well, your overall ethics include respect, honesty, and integrity. So you've got to teach strategies for handling those dilemma that comes up through ethics, how you communicate professionally, what's the best approach to take in a certain situation that you have. Professionals demonstrate self-control and a high code of moral ethics, and they practice high standards. So you got to instill those ethics. You have to help people to understand how to deal with situations. And we do have a lot of them. We have a lot of them with just situations we deal with in the restaurant. And we also have a lot with situations we deal with the customers. So lots of learning that can go on there. What we started out with, dress professionally. Our guests should be able to recognize you as the manager if they have a question, if they have something that they need. Um, Personal hygiene, how you carry yourself is, the way that you set the example, and through smiling. Just a simple smile makes everyone feel better. So you have to listen carefully. Professionalism means that you're listening respectfully when the other person's talking. You're not interrupting, making that eye contact. Sometimes you got to give them that nod to know that you are engaged with them in what they're speaking about and that you're trying to understand what they're saying. So, again, you know, you should maybe repeat that back to them just so that they know that there's a true understanding between the both of you. So, another part of professionalism is, if you have someone, address them appropriately. If you know that they have a title and you want to address them, we deal with a lot of families and children. We want to be respectful to their children as well. Maintain distance. Everyone has their personal space. So, what we want to do is we want to respect that. We want to keep a maintain a distance that's appropriate, and we don't want to discuss anyone if they've opened up to us in any way. We're never going to discuss any of their personal information with anyone else. We want to accommodate their needs. So if they have a special preference or they have something that they need to have an accommodation for, we need to do that. We need to find out how we can help them. If it's someone who has a hearing deficit, we'll speak slowly and clearly, and we will try to help them in the best way that we can. Professionalism is so important, and it's one of the best ways to show kindness and respect. Professionals seek to utilize their knowledge and training, but it's about more than that. It's about the relationships. This is going to be the foundational building block of the culture in your building. So, this is where we want to start, and this is where we want to become strong. We become strong here, then we can move on to other things, and we can have a great culture that's going to make you so successful in your career. So we have four elements of professionalism. One is the first impression. People get a first impression, they never forget it. You know, whenever you came in as, we always say that when someone comes in to interview, you see that person for the first time and you're looking for certain things. Um, if their speech isn't, you know, very good, or they're not looking clean and they're not paying attention and they're kind of not engaged with you, that's really not a very good first impression. So know that you're saying a lot whether you know it or not. Did you ever hear the phrase, no response is the response? It definitely is. So taking into account what you're saying, what you're showing on your face, all your nonverbal communication, you are always giving or sending a message. So be aware of that. Why we do what we do or we don't? Well, think that's pretty simple. You're making a conscious decision and you want to take into consideration everybody involved so that you make the best decision that you can. And having that positive attitude, boy, I love to come in and work with um, someone positive, and I want to be that influence on someone else. It just makes the workday so much better and so much faster. You know, no one wants to dread the workday. It seems to go on forever, right? So, what are those first impressions? How you communicate with others, at least for the initial time period, is always based pretty much on first impression. I said that they're never going to forget that. So, if your boss comes in, or, we have a new person joining us, team member, a new manager, we have to make that impression because it's going to stick with someone for a long time. So, we need to communicate effectively. We need to make that impression. We need to be organized and ready for them because we want that impression to be good. So, if we're unorganized and we seem to not know, have that competency factor, then that's what's going to stick with people. So, make sure that you're ready to go so that you have the confidence and that you can project the company in the way that it should be. What do we say? You're saying a lot whether or not you know it. So those nonverbals are hugely important. And when you're confident, your posture's better. When you wear something really nice, I think your posture's better. I know it is for me. You know, if I have something nice that I bought and I'm wearing it out, that's something that I think that I kind of like have my shoulders back and I just have a different presence about me because I feel better. When you feel better, you show it. Your tone of voice, we tend to mirror and image other people. So if you have a customer complaint and they're getting a little bit loud, don't try to get loud also. You should try to diffuse the situation and kind of keep your tone rather steady and kind of quiet, and keep smiling. Keep smiling through it all because that's going to help people calm down and be able to take care of the situation for them, instead of escalating the situation. So a lot of this is, when you have verbal bad habits, the slang is huge for me. We have to be aware of this. I know greeters, sometimes we had that where we'd say, women would come in, hey guys, how you doing tonight? And some people take offense to that. We do have slang that's in certain areas. What do we say? Pittsburgh slang is yuns. So, um, and it's kind of popular. And we want to look at those conversational things where you insert, and I think I just said, we do it without really noticing, but sorta, wanna, different types of phrases. I'm kind of cool with it. Um, it's probably not the best professionalism that there is. And try not to use buzzwords and catchphrases. You might think it's kind of cool, but it doesn't always come across that way. And so we want to be professional in our communications. Why we do what we do or don't. I said, well, this kind of speaks for itself, but um, a lot of this is, do we do it or do we put it off? And why do we put it off? What is that called? Procrastination. And we all do it at some point. Mostly we do it because it's something we don't want to do. So when it's something that we think we're not good at or something we don't enjoy, we put it off and we procrastinate on it. So, sometimes it's just because we don't prioritize in the right manner. Um, but what happens with that is when we procrastinate, it just gets delayed. Um, a lot of times you get stressed out by it. Some people say, well, I work better under pressure, but that's really not the best way to do. And usually your work quality suffers. So, try to prioritize correctly. There's lots of things we don't like to do, but I always say be the first one to raise your hand because when you do that, you get to be heard and you get to relax and you get to listen to everything else that's said. So don't be afraid to go first. Don't wait to be last because then you stress yourself out. Just raise your hand and do your thing. So I think that's a good way to be. I keep trying it. Not always good at it, but I really keep trying. So, what are some of those reasons that we procrastinate? Well, I talked about a lot, some of them. Here's a lot of them. Sometimes we're just not as confident in our manager skills yet. We're new. We just don't know what to do, maybe, so we kind of procrastinate in that. We can become reactive or emotional to situations where we really need to learn to be more objective to things, and we learn that through experience. So it does come in time. Talked about prioritizing things that just need to be done. You can't say no, maybe take on too many projects, and you really just don't have the time. Um, Want a perfect product. That happens sometimes. You think, oh, well, I'm going to think about it and I'm going to research it and I'm going to, wait. That's not always the best way. Sometimes it is. Fear of failure or success can work both ways of why we procrastinate. Um, and I think that there are quite a few down here that we know, but we know ourselves better than anything. And we know some of us procrastinate more than others. And it's usually in the end, we could have really taken care of it. It wasn't as bad as we thought. So positive attitude. Let's think about this a little bit. Think about people around you. Think about the individuals that you work with. Think about individuals in your private life. Who is it that you want to spend your time with? Who do you gravitate toward more? Is it the positive people or the negative people? And what happens with the negative people? You usually try the avoidance because it's not the best situation, doesn't make you feel great, and it's kind of hard to deal with. So you definitely want to you avoid them. Does that happen the same? Negative people in your store, your crew people? Do you avoid them? The one that wants to talk, the one that doesn't get things done, the one that's hard to deal with. Um, yeah, and then sometimes the better crew members that you have that take care of things, they look at that in a way that why is that person getting away with all of this? And it's not really how it is, but it's how it's perceived. So you may want to think about that. Just really try to be consistent with your people and try to bring those negative people up. Um, it makes the entire team more productive and it helps you set the example every day. If you go in with that positive attitude, you go in with that smile, like I said, from the top down, it trickles down. So we teach them by being the example every day and expecting the positive attitude from our team. So being professional means, what's it mean? Well, acting and thinking in a professional manner, um, how you treat your coworkers and your management team, having a dedication to your job. When you behave professionally, you leave a greater impression of yourself. And it builds our reputation overall and it helps to achieve the company goals. So it's all positive. All right, I'm going to back to our presentation and we are going to talk about what does it look like? Generationally, we have many different employees in our buildings. Um, I think I qualify for the boomer group, but this little chart is showing us old professional and new professional. So just a couple. I'm closed to the world. I'm open and accessible. I want to have relationships. I want to strengthen relationships. So, you know, number two, I can't make mistakes in public. I can remember being in that situation, being a new employee. I think when I started here, When I came into the office situation, I was in a meeting and there were many um, abbreviations and I didn't understand what they meant. So I didn't feel comfortable enough to raise my hand and ask, but I should have because that's just learning and it would have made things so much easier for me to understand. But at that point, you know how I grew up, it just probably wasn't that. But now you need to be open. You're going to make mistakes. No one is perfect. Nobody knows everything. You learn every day and you just, learn as you go and move on. Personal interest. You weren't an open book. I don't think you should really be an open book now, but I think that when you share some things about yourself that your interests and hobbies are, then you build those relationships and, you know, people are wanting to converse with you and learn about you. So huge. Relationships are huge. It builds trust. Expect to have the answers to questions. And that's not always the way. You should always be using the resources around you and learning. Power is taken and held as the old professional. Power is shared and grown. We want to be the mentor for um, or crew members, for managers, whoever that is. Whether what you do outside of the home or outside of work, excuse me, in your home life is something where you share and you mentor as well. You might be involved in your children's school, or you might be involved in sports teams and your coaching. This is the way that you share your knowledge and you share that emotional maturity and how to handle situations. Um, this is the way we show people those opportunities and ways to grow. Um, and it's just different now. Um, if you have, Gen Zers, you have some young people with you, they're really looking to know that their work makes a difference and they want to know how it's important, what they're doing is important, how it makes a difference in the company. And they want to learn new things and they want to keep learning and moving forward. So try to remember that when you have all these different levels of generations within your store and how you're communicating with them and what opportunities they're looking for. It makes a difference in keeping them and having that retention. So I promise we're getting to the end, but these are the things that we've been talking about, your competence level, learning and knowing. Don't try to hide something you don't know. Just simply say, I don't know, but I'll find out. That's the best way to do it. Reliability, be reliable, do what you say, be honest. That integrity is all about you. It's doing the right thing. Do you walk over the um, straw paper on the floor, the ice cube, or do you pick it up and throw it away? Always have respect for others. Like I said, golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's Bill Campbell's motto. It always has been, and it's been ingrained in all of us. Do self-upgrading. Well, you learn. Um, as you go, you learn about yourself and you grow the way you want to be perceived by others. Be positive. Be positive with everyone. Be kind. Support them. Stay work focused. Don't bring your personal items to work and listen to everybody. Be an active listener because, if I used to have a supervisor that was like that, and I could tell if I would go in to speak and I could tell right away whether I was really being heard or whether it was a bad time. And I would just stop and say, hey, I'll come back later. And that's a good thing to do too, so that you can have a proper conversation. So the Investor's Business Daily gives us 10 secrets to success. Isn't this great? They just put it right out there for us. So we have it. So how you think is everything. Um, you set yourself up for what you want to be. So that positive attitude, the what you want to be, that's everything. You got to decide upon what you want, what your goals are, and how you're going to achieve them. And then you have to take the action to achieve them. Don't stop learning every day. Help others learn, and you're learning yourself. Be persistent and work hard. There's something you want, work hard to achieve the goal. Analyze the details and see how you have to refocus. Focus your time and money. Don't be afraid to innovate, be different. We always need new things and new ways to do things. Deal and communicate with people effectively and compassionately. Be honest and dependable and take responsibility. We said take responsibility and be accountable. Excuse me. Organization's goals. So use checklists. I think this is huge for our new managers. I'm always asking to please use a checklist because you cannot remember everything. There's a lot of information, but create checklists for yourself also. It gives you some great satisfaction to check things off as you go and you become more confident. And I think you feel accomplished in some way when doing that. Sometimes it's good for some people, some not so good, but using checklists with details is a way to make your routine and get that to be a part of how you think every day. Your accountability, make it a priority. You have to be accountable for your actions and change your attitude if necessary. If you're the happiest person on the planet, don't. But if you have some awareness and you become that positive force, go for it. So I'm going to blow by that one, but I just want to talk about this just briefly is types of professionalism. You can be um, professionalism as having knowledge or professionalism as a behavior. And what that means is really you're very knowledgeable about your field and you're very factual and you know a lot of things. But professionalism as a behavior means that you have the ability to get along with a lot of people, that you have that emotional maturity, that you make relationships, that you understand what is appropriate and not appropriate, that you actively listen, that you want to have your crew succeed and you want to help them get to be where they want to be. So you need to talk to them, you need to ask them questions, and you need to help them along the way. That's really professionalism as a behavior. I think that's where we want to be. Having knowledge is great, and we do want to increase our knowledge, but you become so much more well-rounded and you are able to be a force with everyone you come in contact with if you have professionalism as a behavior. So that's going to bring us to the end of our day. I thank you so much for being on today. I do want to keep talking to you all just about your personal growth. And if you need me for anything along the way or you have any questions, please know that I'm here for you. So I hope you have a wonderful day and we will talk soon.